Out of my ear. And we're officially live. Welcome everybody to Android Coliseum's Hangout show number 127. And we just lost Rob.
Oh.
He got a little.
Damn it.
Did Rob have a little stage fright?
No, you know, anything's possible.
Android joke. Anyways, folks and people out there, welcome to our show. This is our time for the Canadian group of us get together and we discuss what is it that's affecting the Android user that's in Canada, and how is our life being made easier, harder, or funner? You never know. So let's go through who's here on the Hangouts. For those who haven't tuned in before, I have myself. I'm Ryan Moore, one of the writers at Android Coliseum. I have with me as well Cass Morrison. How are the planes, Cass?
I'm hanging out for my tablet, so it's going to be an experience.
It's a new experience. I almost joined you in doing the tablet experience because I just got the new Windows 10, and it's actually, for a free upgrade, is now cost me $250 in several hours of labor myself, and many swear words by Martin himself to try to get this.
That's because your upgrade crashed.
Yeah, my upgrade was fine. Something happened to Hangouts, so it popped in on my tablet.
I won't go there because that's not about Android. But speaking of Martin Gay from Ottawa, how you doing, Martin?
I'm good. I'm always good somehow.
Are you guys having the same sort of heat wave? We had a heat warning today. I imagine Ottawa was like 10 times worse.
It's actually just been a normal 20-degree day.
Oh.
How many?
At 20 degrees.
28?
No, just 20. It's been about 21 today.
Okay.
Man, we're at 28, 32, some stupid number like that.
So this means we'll be getting that shortly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, because we had 31, and that's without the Humidex, and we had a heat advisory in. So I imagine once it crosses the lakes and gets a bit more moisture, it'll be hot for where you guys are.
Yep.
And then in the middle between Cass and I, we have Winnipeg.
Hello.
And Rob Blake is here from that. How is Winnipeg these days?
Also hot and wet. Lots of rain.
Oh, so we're not getting rain.
Yeah, we were in the 30s. I think we reached 30-something today.
That's not good.
Yeah, I had a couple of thunder showers. It said it was supposed to be clear skies. So.
Oh yeah, we got that yesterday.
We had those at like the first thing in the morning. It just thunders, rains, and disappears.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. You could see some clear sky outside of the window, but it would be like right above your head. It's pretty weird.
And that's just Canadian weather, people. Like the saying, I always say it's a thunder-based saying, but I bet you it's a Winnipeg saying, it's an Ottawa saying, it's an Alberta saying. Don't like the weather? You wait 10 minutes, and
it changes
for
every 10 minutes.
Actually, our saying in Winnipeg is, "At least it's not snow."
But you get like a month.
Canadians are polite.
Yeah. A month where you can say that in Winnipeg only. Anyways, enough of the weather. Let's talk about the Android and the influences it has on our lives, just like the weather. So, not really exactly Android related, but Bell has been really knocked out of the park lately, and yet they still are claiming to raise the prices on all their cell phone plans. But their Q2 earnings were way up. Martin, you want to talk about this? Because they're doing some expansion as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bell has announced Q2 earnings way above their expectation. They've increased their revenues tremendously. So what the hell they were doing, I have no idea, but it probably has to do with all these people that renew their contract for their mobile division. And on top of that, BC and Alberta is getting an expansion for LTE Advanced. So advanced coverage for BC and Alberta. This should provide you speeds of approximately 150 Mbps.
Now, do you have to get a specific LTE chip in your phone? Like, is that?
Nope. It's anybody that's on the LTE.
Okay.
I thought it only applied to some phones, though.
No, it's definitely all LTE phones.
Oh.
All right, so you guys can start getting some true LTE speed.
Yeah,
LTE.
I wish I could get that in Ottawa. The max I've been capped is 17 Mbps on 5 bars of LTE right downtown.
I could get like 30 on a good day.
Oh, 17 is a good day.
Yeah. Really? I don't think that's much better where you are. Then again, my coverage area kind of sucks. But I always find it hilarious that these companies are just posting, and it's the same thing with Rogers. I think the other day talked about how their numbers are way up because of the fact that special cohort where everybody was, being bumped into the next category automatically. So this huge bump in their sales, and yet you see these companies that are like they're making money hand over fist, and yet, we have to increase the costs of your plan because it's just so expensive.
We need money for our stockholders.
We don't make much money at all on anything we do.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know. So it's one of those things. Like, how do you?
The markup on cell phone? They say that their markup is about 10 to 15%, but their actual real markup is 70%.
Yeah.
That tells you how much they're getting their phone for.
I think a lot of businesses get a huge markup. 100% is not unusual.
Nope, definitely not.
Alrighty, so let's see here. So that's Bell. I mean, I'm with them. I gotta sort of hope that they keep the lights on in the business. But I mean,
on an interesting note, when it comes to Bell, we may actually be getting devices from Bell. I have a nice contact that is going to chat me up on that, as he is the main liaison for marketing and PR.
Nice, because I've always been trying to get on Bell, because Bell and TELUS, they don't really seem to be on Twitter, and Rogers is very easy for us to get a contact because they're very active in those things.
And they actually have a team dedicated to just social media.
Yeah, they do.
Which is funny because ever since I've been writing, I've been trying to talk to Bell and TELUS and all the different companies that get some sort of carrier coverage as well. Never it. So good for you. So guys, hopefully have some more news about Bell going forward and all that kind of stuff. So now, talking about carriers and sometimes how they can be a little bit corrupt. A lot of news lately about some of the police having issues and whatever they're doing. Now, Canada, we don't really have quite the same issue. Now, the Toronto Police have a really good pipe band. The Toronto Police now has an app for the public. So what kind of app is this, Martin?
This app features on public notices, crime rate, locations, and whatnot. You can even report some information over to your local police department from that app, as well as get extra information for the community and whatnot. So the app features different sections and different information you can get, but you can also request police information and or a callback from them. It's not like where in the U.S. you can actually use the app and get in touch with the police because there's a crime being committed. That's not implemented from what I can see. But you can definitely get in on the advisories and whatnot, and that was excellent, Cass. Nice show right there. So yeah, no, definitely a good app with a lot of information, and it was very nice that they provided that to the public in Toronto. So I can see a lot of people making use of that.
That's good. I know something the out in town we've been doing. We have an app that you can do, and you can tag graffiti, for example, and report that to the police. Is that sort of all built into the same app? Like you can sort of report something? And
I didn't see anything like that specifically, no. Okay. It definitely was more informational than anything else.
Yeah. It sounded like it was non-emergency type stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because like on pretty much any phone I've always had, there's always that broadcast message SMS or whatever. Like, isn't that what the emergency stuff is for? Like the yellow alerts and like, isn't that what that's for?
I have an alert app.
A cell broadcast app or whatever?
I don't know. I don't think they have anything like that with the app they just released.
But I was gonna say. Anyways, so that's if you're in Toronto, you would now have an app to get information from the police more often. Now, Google Hangouts 4.0 just rolled out recently. For those of you that haven't downloaded the new update, or got the new update, you can go download the APK and sideload it like I did and just get it earlier. So, there's a lot of hate around for it. Those of you who are sort of the OCD types and looking at the alignment of the things or different other features are definitely going to say, "Oh, it's a rushed product." But I kind of like it. I don't really notice a huge difference, like a little bit of visual difference on the phone. But I mean, otherwise it's acting the same way for me, so I don't know what the huge issue is. Martin and Rob, I think will duke it out on this one.
Not so much Duke it, because I agree with Rob. I mean, it's great that they put out an app. It's great it was updated, and it's awesome. Except they didn't do a whole lot enough in my from what I could see, there was not enough put into it. But what they did do, they did great. I mean, it's material design, which is fine. They've improved the efficiency, the response, the way it connects to the various networks is actually faster. So sending and receiving SMS, whether it's a Hangout or an SMS, is much faster as well. But they could have done a lot more than what they did. And Rob has a nice list that he went over and probably could add more to it. But yeah, I'll let Rob talk a bit on that one.
Yeah, well, when it comes to Hangouts, like I see it all the time on Reddit and everywhere else. Those of us that use other chat apps or tried them out and that kind of thing, like as it's well known, I use Telegram a lot. Then you start to compare more. So if you've already used Hangouts and use it exclusively, then this will feel like an update. But when you use something else, you kind of expect it to meet the status quo, right? So yeah, there was like another article on Tech Dissected, and someone did the job for me of pointing out a long list of things that haven't been done and such. Like there's no quick reply, there's no search. Search is something I've used a lot, especially in group chats. Just being able to reply to someone individually and tagging and such. There's a lot of stuff that was kind of being hoped for such a large jump in Hangouts that you know, for options that you'd see in WhatsApp or Line or other kind of things too. So you know, like Martin's saying, it is good for, you know, how it's been more responsive, and the material design is kind of there. To me, it's not quite up to par even in that regard. There's still some things that could be fixed, like just simply, you know, swiping back that way to get back to your contact list. That's something that they have in other material design apps. But you know, no tablet interface, and GIFs aren't really working on the sender side. A whole bunch of stuff. So anyway, it in my opinion, and that of many on Reddit I've seen and on Google Plus, it needs a lot more to it yet to catch up to other ones.
Well, go ahead.
The update wasn't to actually bring features. It was just to actually bring it up more to the material standard of what Google is actually using. There was no added features to be implemented. There was no fixes of anything that were supposed to be implemented as well. So
that's part of the problem, though. Is, yeah, you're right. That's not what the guys that are developing Hangouts intended. But everyone's going, you went to 4.0, you expect a little bit more yet. You know, like go to 3.9.2 or something with something like this. I don't know. It's my opinion and others. So.
But there was stuff that's in the code that people probably didn't show up on Reddit, but it will allow for the expansion of the platform. There's a lot of extra code that is pointing out to Android M.
Right. Yeah, like that's what you've been teaching me, is that there is other stuff that the average Joe's is not going to see. So that's where the back and forth comes from.
And from the look of it, there was a lot of what I personally say server-side features, where Google will be able to say, flick a switch, and all of a sudden everything changes for you.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
One thing I did like about this, in terms of you saying, it was more of a just bring it into material design element line, not really add features, and that's true. But what they did add, which is something we've asked for a long time, is the ability to work with it on our watch.
Yes.
This is the biggest feature, because a lot of times, you know, chat will be going on with you guys and stuff will be going on, and especially, you know, when I'm at work, I usually mute a couple of the I have like a ton of ones for ingress and different things I have going around. So I mute a lot of them. So a lot of times I want to, something came up, I want to tell that person, but if I don't have a notification on my phone, I can't respond. Well, at least now with the Hangouts app, I can bring it up on my phone, bring up that list, go to that one, and then reply to it. So that is the big feature that they added. that they would be missing for a long time.
I'm just gonna start texting you instead.
Don't text me. I don't want to text. Telegram thinks I don't really have a text number. They think I have a VoIP number, so maybe. Anyways, on and on to the next thing. So, next thing. So, Google has a parent company called Alphabet. So, I remember seeing this the other day, and I thought people, and I first thought it was a joke, just because a couple of people had commented about it. And then you started actually really, oh, I understand. I get what it is. People started saying, oh, they got bought out. This is the death of Google. They got bought. No, they didn't. They just set up a separate company who's now the holding share company that will oversee a bunch of stuff. So basically, they're going to move. Alphabet is going to be this top-end company that's going to handle, basically make sure everything underneath it is guiding it directly, instead of Google having to guide everything directly. Because
or having everything branded Google.
Yeah, everything having branded Google. Because, like, you remember, Martin, we went to Android TO and they talked about Google X Labs, and you looked at the stuff that they were doing, like Project Loon and that thing with the snake in the water thing, like that would clean oil. And like how does this have to do with like internet in like Google searches? It's not really a Google thing. How about that Google Health, where they're trying to look at how to let people live longer? Like that's not really. I get it's a cool thing, but it's not really a quote-unquote Google thing. So the idea now is that Alphabet will handle all this cool shit that is just really cool. X Labs, as we just heard today, Niantic is now going to be outside of Google. All these different things are going to be outside of Google, and let Google handle what it does, the internet stuff, very well.
Yep.
So I think that's really cool. And so we're going to see Sundar Pichai is now going to be the president and CEO of Google. Larry and Sergey are now going to be the president and CEO of Alphabet. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. I mean, a lot of people are starting to say, well, this is an end run around some of the EU antitrust laws they're trying to do, is try to bust up Mike at Google. So you might see stuff like potentially YouTube, potentially and Android move outside of Google so that it can be operated separately. Again, it's tough to say it's operated separately because technically they're all going to be at Mountain View, right? They're all going to be probably in the same building or same complex. It's just technically on that. So, Cass, I think you have a comment to looking at there.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, people that say stuff like that, have they never seen how multi-corporations work? Like, to me, what Google is doing is just makes sense business-wise, only they did it after incorporating all the companies they actually took over a long time ago, like YouTube, like Android. People tend to forget that those are things that Google took over and in a very unusual way actually incorporated it into one company instead of retaining it as separate divisions. Mm-hmm. So this doesn't seem like a big leap to me as much as just good business sense.
It was going to happen one way or another.
Yep. I think there was a post, I think somebody put it on Reddit this morning, or because again, I see everything on Google Plus anyways, and it was basically this guy's story about, let's just say I have 3 kids, and one's a really good drummer, one's a really good guitarist, and one's really good on the keyboards. And they have a little band, and they're awesome at it. And then I decide I go and adopt another kid. And this kid, he's not that great. We give him some wood blocks, and he kind of makes a sound, and he kind of follows rhythm, but he's okay, you know, but doesn't really follow the same groove the other kids have. Then I adopt another kid. This kid can't play for shit, but he's a great cook, right? So instead of having him try to fit in this band and people coming to see this band, now he's like, I built a bigger house that has a band room over here, the cooking show room over here, and, you know, room for a little block player kid to over there to go play with blocks. So the idea being is that it allows them to really focus essentially by separating it. Even though it's in name only, it does allow them to have that sort of that opportunity to grow and to develop properly. Even though, like I said, technically they might just still be across the hall from each other. Nothing changes except just the matter of you now have a little more autonomy if you're now technically outside of Google. You're still going to be under the boss of Larry and Sergey, so that hasn't changed. Anyways, enough of that. at first I thought people just this, and that. It was just fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And people wanted to claim Google Plus is dead, but we know that's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
Okay, so moving along here, OnePlus 2. So going on sale. Unfortunately, we're hearing that there's going to be a delay in the Canadian markets. Unfortunately, so if you've been hoping to buy one, sorry, Cass, if you're looking to get rid of that Z3 Compact, you may have to wait a little bit longer. They haven't really given a reason for it, as far as I saw, but it's going to be delayed. So
it's big and a little expensive for me, anyways.
2 to 3 week delay.
And you know what? One of the things, and you mentioned, Cass, too, that you were interested about it was that it had a button. I don't think that's a button in the front. I think that's just the sensor.
I thought it was a button.
I think it is a button as well. It's just not.
Yeah, it's a button.
It doesn't actually press or move.
Okay.
It just acts as a button when you tap it, kind of thing. And it's a fingerprint sensor too, I think. I believe that's correct.
I haven't watched anything of it in action yet. I've been so about it that I didn't bother.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
Even the past week, you've seen they actually had an invite auction for charity to help.
Well, and we have an invite to give away, right, Martin?
So that's
I do. I do have an invite I can give away to a lucky winner, which will allow you to go buy the OnePlus One. And this is an invite which will entitle you to buy the 64 gig version.
Ooh.
Because if you're gonna buy it, you gotta buy the 64 gig version.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Yeah.
Balls to the walls.
I'm pretty much at this point. I know I'm gonna get spammed like crazy. So the giveaway for the invite will be done on Gleam, which will be set up by Ryan later on, and you'll only have 24 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, because this runs out pretty quickly, doesn't it?
This invite that I got is good for 7 days. I got it yesterday, so which would technically mean that you'd be able to get it until it will be valid till next Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll get that set up today at some point, and then you have, so as soon as it goes live, 24 hours, and we'll have Gleam automatically pick a winner for us that way. So I'm gonna let Mark set up. You can have some sort of crazy math contest to win the OnePlus 2 invite.
You know, I'm going to make it easy. It's going to be anybody in Canada that wants it.
And then just randomly select one of the entries.
Randomly select somebody.
Done. Okay, so look for that on our website. If you wanted to invite the OnePlus 2, look for it soon. Now, brand new 2016 flagship killer OnePlus 2. Let's go back in time to the Nokia 5210 or the Nokia 3320. The indestructible. It sounds like it's going to make a comeback. After the Lumia days sort of failed, and after Microsoft bought them out, and they sort of disappeared-ish, it looks like they're going to be hired back. They're hiring some talent. So, Cass, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Nokia had a lot of traction. Certainly before they went to Windows Phone. A lot of people had said at that point, why not go Android? But obviously there was a connection there with Microsoft, and Microsoft wanted some stuff. So I kind of wonder whether they can pull something out of the fire there. BlackBerry's trying the same thing, where they're trying, they're sort of doing that, we're going with. So I'm really wondering what their distinguishing feature will be. Will it be the camera? Like BlackBerry has the keyboard and security. Nokia could come in with if they came in with an awesome camera, and their good build quality, I think they could come back, but it's a lot tougher market than it was even when they decided they didn't want to compete with Samsung. Samsung has held on to their big market share.
Mm-hmm.
So
if Nokia can advertise as well as Samsung, then that's the key right there, right?
I think if anybody can advertise as well as Samsung does.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, goes with anyone.
They've got a lot of irons in the fire that aren't mobile, so they can pull their money from a lot of places.
Yeah, so they got the advertising dollars. That's the big thing. We've talked here how much. Samsung's a good product, and it's not bad. It's just I can't say it's better than my LG or the Moto or whatever devices that are out there. They're all pretty much the same nowadays. This comes to make sure software features and the other. That's the advertising dollar to get the name out there. You need that money to get that brand recognition.
Yep.
So
Bingo.
Nokia,
And hopefully they're
has a
prepared for
brand.
that.
And yeah,
Hopefully Nokia is prepared for that. Although, having said that, one of the reasons Apple got so popular at the beginning was because they had the hearts and minds of people in media. So they got a lot of free push from that. Nokia could get the same kind of free push. So it'll be interesting to see how they go.
yeah.
It would.
I'm curious. I mean, I remember some of my first cell phones were the Nokia lineup, so there's a bit of nostalgia.
Wasn't everybody's? Was it either Nokia or Motorola?
My first
That's
was
true,
the
man.
StarTAC. Yeah, the StarTAC, the flip phone. I had to get one of those. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what they do. And like, yeah, going Android, they tested out with those budget phones, the E1 or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
the E1 and those guys. So then I don't know how
And
well
we
they
had a
sold.
tablet.
Yeah, and I want to say the Nokia N1 was it? The N1
I
tablet?
think so, yes.
Okay, so moving along here. That's much it for the news, guys. We're going to talk about news in terms of the website. For those of you who have been following our website for a few years now, and especially if you followed us from when we came over from the other site, one of the things we like to do at the end of the summer is have an end of summer giveaway. We used to call it a back to school giveaway, but as we aged, a lot of us aren't going back to school anymore, and a lot of our readers aren't going back to school anymore. So Martin, I know, and I have been making a lot of phone calls and making a lot of emails and asking to the OEMs out there to say, can we have some things to give away to our faithful readers, because I think they deserved it for sticking with us. And I am overwhelmed. I am with the amount of response we've had in the past year from these OEMs and all these products coming in.
You've had quite a bit.
We have a little database. Martin and I have been keeping track of who's getting what, and it's full. It is full. Let's just say there's 5 phones to give away. There's several Bluetooth speakers. There's going to be a lot. So, and what I like about doing this for everybody is the fact that I can give them a bunch of different prize packs, so I don't have to just have one winner and everybody else gets mad. I can hopefully have 10 winners here. That'd be really nice.
We'll have quite a few.
Yeah,
nice.
So a lot of prize packs. With the idea being we get 10 winners and not just you just get a phone. It'd be like a phone and this adapter and this headset or something. So we can play a bunch of different little toys. Sorry?
Are we restricting this to Canada then?
Yes, seeing as
Yes.
how much I'm getting and how much the shipping alone is going to set me back a couple $100.
Oh, at least same thing here.
So this is going to be pretty costly for us. So it is out of our own pockets for us to ship where we can. So we do apologize. This is going to be just for Canadians only, and I think it's by rights this is meant for Canadians to be reading the site. I appreciate our
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's kind of fair because most of the other blogs out there are mostly aimed at the Americans, and not a lot of them do international. So I think it's kind of fair that we're actually doing something just for Canadians, as we are a Canadian blog.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, now that I got my computer back up and running, I'll have Photoshop up. I can design a nice poster. I have a lot of thanking to do the poster with a lot of logos. I'm gonna feel a little bit like NASCAR here, of thanking all these people out there who've provided these devices and these accessories for our readers. Stay tuned. We have also stay tuned for a bunch of. Which one of you is just commenting a lot? Stay tuned for a lot of reviews in the next little while, because some of these things we're getting we haven't played with yet, so we want to be able to write a review on it so you know what you're going to get. Plus I did a Moto G review the other day. The Desire 626 I haven't done up yet. The Grand ZTE Grand X2 I just got today, so I'm going to be at the end of the week. Dell just sent over a Bluetooth speaker. A ton of stuff to review in the next little while. We'll be getting it all out to you guys. So stay tuned on the website, and you'll stay informed. And while you're there, please comment, please like, please share. Join in the conversation with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Nothing excites me more than seeing the email from Discuss that says, "Oh, somebody commented," and I get to go and reply to it or something. So I really appreciate it, guys, for all that your efforts in doing those comments.
And please keep spamming my Hangout because there's at least 20 different conversations. I have no idea who you are.
Yes.
You love
What?
attention.
Apparently, I love attention, it would seem.
Who doesn't? Okay.
Oh, it depends
Anyways,
for the right reason, right?
We are at 10:31. This is now 1 minute past our 30-minute deadline. Still lots to talk about, always. But please, let's continue this conversation on Google+, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Do I have a LinkedIn? I think we have a LinkedIn for the page. Anyways, you can join us. I should probably figure it out. Absolutely. Guys, appreciate you guys tuning in. Rob, Martin, Cass, thank you for joining me and sharing your wisdom on what goes on in the week with your Androids. We'll see you guys next week.
You bet.
Sounds like a plan.
Ça c'est bon?
Take care, guys.
Good night.